can see that comments while broadcasting. Oh,
Yeah, I can. Now we're
I
live.
can. I can.
Yeah, now we're
You've
live,
got the
and
power.
I've got the power to see all the comments as long as I look now. Just so everybody, whoever's watching
Okay.
now, if you want to
Okay.
comment, then I'll be able to see on whatever platform. Yeah, as long as I remember to look. Oh, and it
Okay.
says, hold on, we're connecting your channels. I guess it's still connecting. To activate chat, please enable channels. Okay, something, it says
Amish,
something's wrong.
there's a countdown. It shows 1 minute and we're live. I don't
Oh, is
know.
that right? Oh, is
Yeah,
that right? Is that what it's saying?
I think we are live since
Yeah,
1 minute now.
it looks like yeah. It's always hard to tell because
It's
yeah, but basically we're live now. It looks like yeah.
but I think the people know we're a little bit crazy, so it's okay.
Yeah, they're used to these things.
Okay, David, nice talking to you.
Yeah, good to
And
see
the
you.
year 2021,
2021, we made it this far.
2020, 2021, 2020,
2021. It's
no, 21, 21,
yeah,
21,
2021. Yeah.
2020. Yeah, it's all right.
Hmm.
So I hope this year will be a little bit better.
It's
Not
looking like it might be eventually by
no.
the end of the year, perhaps. The beginning is looking like it's going to be really bad, though, huh? I mean,
Yes,
here we've had over 350,000 people die of COVID-19 in the U.S., and the winter they're predicting is going to be the worst yet, and probably, health systems collapsing and whatever else we'll see. I don't know. But it's looking pretty bad. And then, of course, we
it's
got one in, as of the BBC was reporting yesterday, 1 in 4 children are going to bed hungry in the United States right now. 1 in 4 children and 1 in 6 people overall, despite all of the aid. It's not reaching all the places it needs to reach. I think some people are getting a lot of money from the government and others are getting none, and it's not working. It's
I
making
think
some people a lot richer. But
the situation is like in the third world country. I think in the US now,
it's
and
very third world, yeah. Except that the government does give money. Like the government has a lot of money and they give a lot of money to people, but they just don't give it to the right people, and so
yeah.
uh, you know, it doesn't get to where it needs to get. Which is a little different in the third world, where the government just keeps all the money generally and doesn't give much of it at all to the people, But I mean, here they keep most of the money, but they give more of it away too. It still doesn't work. It's just very ineffective form of badly regulated capitalism.
I think that's a big wish of Trump that he gets all the money and the others have none money. So he claims donations from the people for his own living. I think, yeah.
Well, he's been getting. He's been since he lost the election. He has raised several, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars to for his ongoing election campaign, even though he lost. So it's very interesting. But I mean, he wants people to get more money from the government. But I think that's just because he's trying to play Santa Claus and be more popular. He wants to send $2,000 to every American who makes less than $75,000 a year.
Yeah.
But it's just not very well targeted. I mean, if you're making $75,000 a year, you don't need any more money. You're okay.
But now everyone gets from $600 or
Yep, we
they
just got our money, and it came into our bank account yesterday. $600 for each member of the family, and
and
I mean,
once six hundred
it
dollars. So
all at once. So we got $3,000 that appeared in our bank account yesterday for me, my wife, and our 3 kids. But and for in our case, it's very useful. It's we can use the money. I have not had any paying work since last March. So yeah, but it's the many of the people receiving this money are gainfully employed. They're working full time. They don't need more money. But so it's just not getting where it needs to get. And of course, there's like 11 million people in this country who are not documented and have no option to get any aid. So it's
it's always the same that the people that have the money, that have the influence on the politicians, and they get more money. It's also it's the same in Germany, Lufthansa
Mm.
the
The
big
airline, they've been
the
bailed
airlines
out.
and Deutsche Bahn, the railway, they always get money. And I was very angry because of Lufthansa. They get the money and throw out 30,000 people lost their jobs, and they get money from the state. And the pilots that earn a lot of money, they don't cut their wages, and I think they get also $15,000 or so. So the people that have the money and that could last for a time, they get more money, and the people like or the artists or owner of little shops or they don't get the money. They always tell in the television that we don't have to worry. You get the aids from the government, but there was not paid a lot of money. So I think
So
it's the same in the U.S.
very inconsistent in
Yeah,
terms of who's getting this money. Yeah. And have there been? I think the pandemic is really out of control in Germany now. At this point, it's really spreading.
I think it's if you according to the tolls of death, it's nearly if you compare it to the population, it's
Very
nearly the
similar.
same. So it's similar. We have got yesterday we've got 1,000 deaths, and we've got 80 million inhabitants. So
Yeah.
there is not much difference to the
No,
U.S.
it's the same pretty much. And
And
then if you look at Europe as a whole, it's also pretty similar. For like,
so, but and I think we've got the much more better healthcare system, and
but the people
then
dying, it's the
yeah,
number of people dying are the same. Like you
a
have
lot of people.
450 million people in Europe, and the
Yeah,
number of people overall in Europe who have died is something around 1 in 1,000, just like here. It's very interesting to me because I think Europe is generally run so much better
yeah.
than here, but still, it's not helping with the virus. I mean, capitalism just seems not to be able to deal with this virus. I
No,
mean,
we have got the problem. The first problem is that they made not a real lockdown in November, so all the shops were open, and we've got how we call it, drugstores where we could buy a toothpaste or such thing. So we've got shops of them. They are open because they say that are for the essential of living,
mm-hmm.
but they sell everything. They sell toys. They it's like a big store,
Yeah,
and
same things here. So the big stores are doing okay, but the little stores have to close.
the problem is that now they made a lockdown, but there are a lot of people here, especially in the eastern part of Germany, in Sachsen, that don't care about the corona restrictions. So in November, they make a big demonstration with 20,000 people with no mask. And so they've got now, first they got very low numbers, and then now they are rising to the highest in the country. And
Wow.
I think if there is no solidarity. There is solidarity of some people, but it, if there are 10% of the people that are not acting according to solidarity, then it won't work. So that's the problem here in
Mm.
Germany. I don't know. Now we have got restrictions. We've got a. I have to look up the word. I think it's curfew.
Mm. Yep,
We've
that's the
got a
word.
we've got a curfew but just here in Baden-Württemberg, from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the morning. But if that has so big, it's such a big issue. I don't know. Yesterday I was going home and was home at 30 seconds before 8 o'clock. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I have been to my I haven't been to my parents at Christmas, so we made a Zoom conference, and
Good.
it was very good. We play dices. We play. I don't know. Do you know the game? Um, Country, city, a river.
Mm-mm. Is it a
No,
board
it's
game?
not. It's not a ball game. It's a game. You have to. Uh, Someone says uh, a letter, so A. So you have to write down a city with a country with a river with a job with A, and so
Oh, I
we
like it.
played it via a Zoom conference. So it was good because
Nice.
I could test with I think with 4 cameras over with the OBS studio, so,
Ah,
and I
cool.
always could change the view, and
Oh, nice. I need
I
to
think
learn how to do that.
it was nice. So a friend of mine, he's working as a Veranstaltungs live event um, technician.
Great.
So
Technician, yeah.
we want to make some live streams for little
Yeah.
bands or for artists. We're planning that, so it's it's okay
Mm.
because I couldn't do anything else now, but I want to make a video editing course in February in my
Oh,
old
good.
school,
Oh,
and
excellent.
I don't know what's with the lockdown. So because you couldn't do that online, the video editing course, because
Mm.
they all have to have their with Adobe Premiere, and it costs
Right.
something. So,
You have to have the
but
software and a
yeah,
fast computer.
but I think it's okay, and I'm lucky. I'm sometimes a little bit lonesome, but I think a lot of people there really have to suffer with the pandemic, and
I
I
think it's
hope,
just so much loneliness. I mean,
yeah,
it's good that people can do things on Zoom and have a Zoom Christmas party and all that. And I always go into these things thinking, oh, this is gonna be really not very good or interesting or fun, and then I end up having a really good time anyway. But I know people are so tired of having the screens all the time, and the amount of anxiety and depression is so much higher than normal, and then all the people who are stuck at home with you know family members they don't get along with, or with abusive
mm,
spouses or parents. It's what a situation. But is that's been in Germany too? I'm sure the rise of domestic violence and that sort of thing.
it's a rise of domestic violence and of criminal activities, like also in the internet crime, and also I had to offer a job, and it was just something they want to have my data. So a lot of people make money according to pandemic, and I think that's really really bad. That's really really bad, and there is no solidarity of them, and they think also we have got to make the money. It doesn't matter, and that I think it's the attitude of capitalism. And now
That's
in
yeah.
pandemic times, it arises.
Doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah. We have a
but
question on
yeah,
from the somebody on viewing on Periscope, and they're wondering if Germany is still going full steam ahead with austerity measures.
with what?
Aus- Austerity,
With
like cutting government spending on many different programs in order to balance the budget, that kind of thing. It's like the kind of austerity is, I think, austerity like budget cutting in order to pay back debts and that sort of thing. I think this is more what Germany has been trying to impose on Greece and other countries, not so much what's going on in Germany itself, as far as I understand. I don't know.
you you the question is that Germany have to pay back.
No, the
Um,
question is Germany still doing a lot of austerity measures? And I
uh,
think this is a term they use a lot in England, austerity. And when
Austerity
they
measures
talk
is,
about austerity measures, they're talking about cutting the budget in order to basically spend less on social programs in order to balance the budget. And if us,
Yes,
that's
they.
what they were doing. What Merkel and many other lending countries were trying to do, or what they did get Greece and Ireland to do. To cut their budgets in order to pay back debts. That's
Okay.
austerity. Yeah, austerity
Yes,
budgets. Yeah,
I don't know. I just know they have got after the unification in Germany, we have to pay
a lot of money to the
uh,
east, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
solidarity budget, and now they want to cut it. The solidarity budget, because okay, we have got a unification. The problem is that a lot of money of this solidarity budget was not given to the building of East Germany. It was just in the government Haushalt, the
Just
government
for
budget to spend
government
it
budget
for military and such things.
administration.
So the problem is that we got a lot of money that they say they give it for solidarity, and they won't do that.
And it didn't actually
Yeah.
have that impact. And so, as a
No,
result, Eastern Germany is still a really very different place than the West. I mean, it's much less wealthy
the
still.
problem was in 1989 and 1919 the unification came, and the sister of my father, she lived in Thüringen, and she was second chief in a socket producing company, socket socks, yeah?
Uh-huh. Making
Socks,
socks. Uh-huh.
making socks, and she was not in the SED party. So she couldn't get to a higher degree, and
The
after
SPD,
yeah,
SPD, the Social Democrats. What party?
no,
The East,
the
the former
East
East Communist.
the former East Communist Party, the Social Unity Democratic Party, so
Right.
Erich Honecker and so, but she wasn't in the party. But if you are on a certain level in your job in East Germany, you had to be a member of the party. So after the unification, most of the chief positions in East Germany, they gave to Western people. So a lot of people in East Germany were unemployed because they say in Western Germany they say, okay, you don't know how capitalism works and so on. And so I think in East Germany they on the one hand, when the regime in East Germany was in power, they also fight against punks and alternative people on the left side, and they don't do a lot of things against fascists. And so the fascists were growing a lot in East Germany, and after unification, people of Western Germany, sadly from my hometown in Hamburg, they go to East Germany and establish a very big fascist movement. And so I think the people in East Germany, they really don't trust the government. Okay, that's okay on the one side, but they're very more open for right-wing argumentation and for conspiracy things. So
Yeah.
that's the problem. And so,
Yeah.
in my
So you've had really big protests, really big marches in East Germany, especially like against immigration and
yeah,
with what was that group called? Pegida. Is Pegida
Pegida.
still active, or has that more been kind of swallowed up by AFD?
No, it's different. Pegida is a movement from the streets. You know, and
Hmm.
the AfD is a normal party. It's not a normal party, but it's in the
In the
illegal
parliament. But
cause. They are in the parliament, and Pegida.
many people who march in Pegida marches probably vote for AFD.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
of course, of course. But because the AfD is the only party in the government that stands for for their values, you know. So
Yeah.
there's no other party there. So all the right wing people from the real fascist group to the conservative right wing, they all have these. They all vote for AfD, and before the AfD in Germany, the right wing people were very split up. They've got many parties like the Republicans, the DVU, the NPD, and these right wing parties they were quarreling each other. And now the problem is the AfD. All the people where you right wing people, not all people, were united into the AfD, and so you've got a big variety from really hardcore right wing terrorists to right wing conservative people,
And
and
would you
they
say if the AFD growing, still growing?
no, not so much. It's not unless I think unless they were friendly to all the um, pandemic pandemic opposers. They they lost people, the conservative people, but now okay, they have get hold of the really right wing people, but now they have got about 9 to 10%, and I think they lost a few percents, but it's still still have so much voters than the SPD, and the SPD was a big party a few years ago, and now they have
Mm.
got so much votes like the AfD.
Mm.
So yes, but I think I don't know what's happening with the AfD. They have got a fight between the really right wing people like Bernd Höcke and Kalwitz. They are really fascists, and then they're all in the sense fascists, but they are really um, uh, say anti-Semitic things, and so when then you have got the people like Calverts, they are more conservatives, and they don't want that the people think they're a fascist, and so they're quarreling each other, and that's perhaps that the party is perhaps split up. I don't know, but I think if a right wing party is split up, then there's another one. So it's because of the thinking of the people. If the part they want to forbid the National Democratic Party, that are really neo Nazis party, and they say it, but they couldn't do it because of the Verfassungsschutz.
Mm.
This is that is state police that um, constitutional police, you
Mm.
know,
Okay.
and they had infiltrated the National Democratic Party, but a lot of these constitutional political infiltrators were also right wing, so they couldn't forbid the NPD. And I think it's not. It's if they forbid this party, it doesn't change the thinking of the people. So
Mm. Mm.
I hope
Yeah.
You could understand a little
Ah,
bit.
that all made very good sense. It's a very good explanation for the current situation with the right in Germany, which is also very, very much the case in many other countries with a right wing. I mean, it's they're often divided between the open fascists and the ones that are just sort of want to stay on the other side of fascism but still be right wing. And it's very uh, slippery slope, and similar problems with left parties as well.
But now you have got these people that say Corona doesn't exist, and a lot of them also are right-wing people, and the leader of this movement, he also said, I know, with right-wing people I have nothing to do, and then you see them collaborating with well-known fascists in Germany, and but now the right has got this movement
It's very big, right? I mean, this
it's
movement is growing and it's very, very broad. And I know people in Germany who are
yeah,
part of this movement. I mean, there's the anti-vaccine movement
yeah,
seems to be bigger in Germany than perhaps anywhere in the world other than the United States, as far as I can tell. It's a huge thing there, isn't it? The anti-vaccine movement
it's
and this sort of suspicion of things like vaccines and also the I mean, of course, there's always some part of these these movements. They're always based in some kind of truth. Of course, there is vaccines have in the past killed people. This has happened. It's been a long time, I think, but this happens. Of course, viruses kill people much more than vaccines do. But yeah, vaccines are not always safe, depending on how well made they are. So that's why they're so careful about these things these days, right? It was like 50 years ago or 70 years ago, one of the earlier polio vaccine efforts in New York, I believe, ended up. It was a badly mixed batch of vaccine, and people died, and it's terrible. But and then there's also the movement in Germany against Wi-Fi and 5G is very big. And there again, it's like I'm concerned with the radiation coming from cell phone towers, and I would not want to live right next to a cell phone tower. And I can see that there are cancer clusters near cell phone towers, and I'm very skeptical of cell phone technology. But the movement in Germany, I mean, the movement against this technology, I don't know. It often seems to cross over into all kinds of strange things. I mean, if it focused on science and on the problems with things like cell phones and vaccines, that maybe that would be fine. But it seems it gets really into fantasy and all kinds of ideas that they make up or ideas that are maybe hypotheses that are not proven. And they're always sharing videos. They never seem to have articles written in with editors in newspapers or something. It's always videos. It's always a video of somebody speaking. You have to listen to 2 hours of some video in order to understand why you should not like vaccines.
the
It's
the problem is in Germany. I was working with a friend at the end of the 90s, beginning of the new century, about the new right in Germany, and all these movements now. Okay, I just I live 50 meters to no, where the cables are, the high voltage cables,
oh yeah, right, one of those.
So I
Yeah.
live 50 meters to them, and I think, okay, perhaps I'm a little bit crazy due to that, but the problem is all these movements, they have the structure of the new right. That means the new right says ethno-pluralism. We have got nothing against foreign people, but they should stay where they are. And so we could live all in peace together. And we have got a united right in Europe and all over the world. And on
Live in peace together, apart.
peace together, and our society, the Christian society, and so on. And they also due to these conspiracy theories, like Hitler also do uh, the the Aryan people. They say they are Aryan people, but in reality, Aryan people, they live in Iran. And so I've got nothing to do with Aryan people. And they made their own history, and they always say you have to believe, and that's the big problem. I think you have to be dogmatic, and all these people are dogmatic. You can say say that what they're telling objective is not true, but they don't listen. So you couldn't do with them. And I think we've got the Reichsbürger.
Riceburger, the
Reichsbürger.
oh, like the mayor of a state or
Nee,
what?
Reichsbürger. It's a movement in Germany. It's
Oh,
it's a little movement, but I have been to Veranstaltung. To a meeting of them. I don't know what's it was. So it was I think 10 years ago in Stuttgart, and they made a meeting for people. They say they want to do something about DIY, how you could make your own things, build your own things, uh, um, not connected to the big companies and so on. So it was okay, like normal DIY meeting. So I went there with some friends, and also not a friend, but I know her. She was a black black girl, and we went there, and they tell, okay, how to build your own motorbike, and then someone told them, and we don't accept the the German constitution, because it's not a really constitution. It's the constitution of the powers that win the Second World War, like the US. And then they said, we are Reichsbürger. That means they want to have the constitution of the Weimar Republic, and they just accept the borders of 1938. So, and then I stand up and said, hey, what you doing here that are all Nazis? and,
yeah,
and the ones, no, we are not Nazis, we're not Nazis, no matter. And I say, I will go out. And because all the people were sitting there. So that is really the new right. They
wow,
don't
yeah.
say we are wiping people. They say, oh, we are people, we are anti-capitalist, and so I think how fast you could get into such a thing.
Yeah, they're really changing their approach and their it's also I think to some extent here as well, but they're also changing how they dress, of course, how people dress, what kind of music they listen to, and all these cultural things where a lot of the right looks a lot more like what you would think of as more like radical youth, like a anarchist youth, or like
Yeah.
that kind of DIY scene, like that you'd recognize. I mean, people wearing black beards are very
Yeah.
popular among the right these days. Is that true in Germany too? They like to grow big beards nowadays.
Not so much. Yeah, some of them, but some have. They look like ordinary people, but what you expect from a right wing is if you have no hairs on, or you look like you have got like glasses, and look like and you have got your leather jacket, so like the Gestapo in Germany. But here, the movement of the anti-vaccine people that are really you see some are dressed like freaked out hippies, and some are really dressed like normal people, and so you couldn't really judge according to the clothes
Yeah.
what they are. But
No.
that's also, like you said, I think the new right is like the Japanese in former times. They all copy everything, you know.
I
They
think that's
really.
actually. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the copying thing. I mean, just historically was very conscious. You know, I mean, just in terms of like, I'm a big fan of Japanese history, and like back in the and I was thinking of this because you mentioned this before. Back in the after the Japanese overthrew the Tokugawa regime in the 1860s, which was basically a response to the United States Navy bombing Tokyo in 1856. But the Japanese government, you know, the new Japanese government, they sent people all over Europe to look at how things were done in different
Mhm.
European societies because they were very consciously wanting to copy these things because they wanted Japan to become industrialized and militarized. And they wanted that to happen very quickly because they did not want to become a colony of the United States. And
Yeah.
so they traveled all over England and Prussia and France and different places. But the Prussia was the model that they wanted to copy. That's what they decided. This is the model because Prussia was high tech and militarized
Mhm.
and not democratic. So okay, no democracy and a big military and advanced capitalism. Yes, this is what we want. And so they actually not only did they copy lots of Prussian ways of organizing society, but they also Japanese medical books and Japanese medicine was all in German. I mean,
Mhm.
the connection between Prussia or later Germany and Japan, it goes way back, and the copying. While in Japan, of course, people in Japan have long invented lots of new things and new everything. You know, it's not a society of copying, but
No, no,
the
no, not
copying,
anymore.
the copying was very intentional. You know, it was very intentional
No,
copying, specifically copying Prussia, which was
no,
very
I think
interesting.
it was not a good comparison. No, I
Mm,
think these right wing people, they see that if they really go to the youth with folk German folk music and dirndl and like they dress in the Third Reich, and so it's not so it doesn't kick. So they have to go to give them right wing oi
mm,
music,
mm.
but right wing oi music also, you know, is rooted to the black blues music. So,
Yeah,
but
right.
but but they know we have to go to the youth like all these evangelic churches do, that they say, okay, we are going to you, we give you hip hop music, but in reality they are very conservative. And I think that's the same aim, or like Blood and Honor. They say, okay, we give you good music, and we give you community and friendship, and then they infiltrate them. So the right wing people, uh, they are not all silly. The 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 ones that created it, they're very intelligent
Some
because
are
they
very
know
intelligent. Yeah.
how to
So
manipulate. Yeah.
somebody online on Facebook is if up in Flensburg is saying Frank tell about identitaire Bewegung. Yeah, identitaire Bewegung. Is that a somebody else is saying talking about the connection between the right and neo paganism, or I mean, what I've noticed is a lot of the long-standing right wing German connection to Nordic mythology, and this is a big thing. I don't know if it's still as that's what I've noticed with fascists these days. In a lot of places, they're really into the Nordic uh, the Nordic myth. I love Nordic myths, so it's kind of sad that the fascists are so into Nordic stuff. But they and they like to grow beards and but other aspects. I'm sure in other places they're getting into other forms of pre-Christian stuff to identify with the sort of the real roots, the pre-Christian European thing. I guess I don't know how.
It's 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 like the identitarian movement oder identitäre Bewegung.
Yeah, that's the one.
That are
Bewegung.
really an example for new rights. That are most of them, yeah, they give themselves very philosophic. Also with parts of northern mythology, but they more have really these ethnopluralism, these national identity, cultural identity, and people are a little bit equal, but we are here in this geographical area, and we are connected to the northern philosophic, like not some of them also have these Christian identity, or it's not really a Christian identity, but in the US, where the evangelic people they really see, okay, we've got Jesus, but Jesus is a white man, and I have to have my gun, and it's okay. We are all we love each other, but you have to be white. So these things, I think, and the identitarian movement in Germany and also in Austria, they are now really common because they are for a lot of young right-wing conservative students. And these people are really know how to manipulate the people within the new right-wing theory. And here also in Stuttgart, a friend of mine is working in a hospital as a doctor, and some of these identitarian people, they entered a part of the hospital. So these identitarian people, they on the surface, they gave themselves, we're conservative young people, but they are really dangerous. So they are also do acts of violence and so on. So these identitarian people, they also have their famous leader in Austria. And the other thing is these mythological. Oh, my English is
You're
so
doing very good.
Oh, I don't have
Excellent.
So,
we're not on the radio. It's okay.
No, the problem is I was working with a friend of the right-wing influence in the Gothic movement, So and there are bands, I don't know if they know Death in June. Death in June is right-wing folk band, but they are not telling kill all the Jews. They work with things like the death of the West, and so against multicultural thinking, against Western ideals, say, okay, we have to go back to the Nordic roots and so on. But they don't say open. If you ask them, they will never say that they're fascists. But it was very interesting to go into these things, and then how they got their people. And these people, they call them Gruftis gegen Rechts. They were in Bremen, and there were also DJs and musicians in the Gothic scene. So they do something against their own scene. And some of them said, okay, I have listened to Death in June, and they make nice music. And then I realized that are their fascist parts in the act. I wouldn't say they are all fascists, but there are fascist parts. And so they really do good work. They don't say Rammstein is a right-wing band because they play with Riefenstahl aesthetic. So they took the whole. They took the songs, the lyrics, the interviews, and then they could say, is there a part of fascism in there? And I think that is the one thing for the more intellectual right. They say, okay, we are above you because we really understand the Nordic mythology. We understand their right-wing philosophy, Aryan people, and all this crap. And then you have got the ones for the people that have not so much in their brain. And you have got the real fascist oi bands, and so, and they put it all together, and now they have got the anti-vaccine movement, and people that the problem in Germany is that a lot of the anti-Semitic thinking is growing in Germany. There are a lot of churches of them were attacked, and a lot of Jews really frightening to live here. And it's not like 1933, but
No.
It's growing more. And in the 19th, you couldn't say such things like you can now say, because the opinion of the middle of society is going to the right, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it's very complex with the German left to be sometimes, like, I've often had this situation where if you're against capitalism or you're critical of banks in particular, just for example, then there are certain people mainly who would be identified as anti-Deutsch, but also many other people in Germany who would be uncomfortable. And I understand. I mean, they're uncomfortable with people criticizing capitalism and criticizing banks because they're afraid, oh, this person is an anti-Semite, and the criticism of banks is a veiled criticism of Jews, and because we all know that the Jews are all bankers. But of course, we all know the Jews are not all bankers, and so so this idea that the anti-Deutsch have, that criticizing capitalism is sort of anti-Semitic, that idea itself, I would say, is actually anti-Semitic, because Jews are not all bankers, and we all know that, and we've known that forever, and it's always been true. It's never been the case that Jews are mostly bankers, or capitalists. Most Jews have always been, basically, what we would today call working class, and what we would have called, whatever, peasants, in the past.
That's the problem. The organized left, I call them. They are not in parties, but I know they have got the anti-Deutschen and the anti-capitalist. And then you have to say if you're an anti-capitalist or an anti-German or anti-Deutsch, and that's
what a terrible choice.
No, I have so much criticism of the German left, but they say, okay, if you say that, it's good, and if you say that, it's not good, and we say, oh, these people are good and these people are bad. And anti-Deutsch, they say the Germans are always bad and the other ones are always good. So this is crazy.
Very simplistic. It's dangerous.
I never say I'm an anti-capitalist or anti-Deutsch, but dieses anti-Deutsch, it's more a quarrel in the Antifa. And some people in the Antifa are really dogmatic. So that's the problem. I work together with Bernd, you know him, and these people we call us anarchists, and we say we could love. So if you go to a dogmatic left one, and so hey, you could love.
Mm.
So, you always have to look like. So
Very, you have to be serious. Yes,
it's so
everything is always
serious. It's
serious.
political, and so and
It's very
so
macho.
so
Really.
yeah. So that's because I'm an anarchist, and I don't call myself. Uh, I have also problems with the left one because what's the left? There are so much difference. So I'm always say I'm an anarchist, not so.
Yeah.
But
No, left is a complicated term.
yes, and that's also these organized. These organized and if we have a meeting, an anarchist meeting, we don't have a agenda, you know.
Mm.
We just talk. We have something to say, and all these organized left, they have done so. And then we have to say that, and some. So I think some of them are really also really conservative, you know.
Hmm.
But you couldn't say that if someone listens yet now.
Yeah, well, there's different forms of conservative, of course. Like, and that when I first came across this concept of political conservatism as opposed to social conservatism, these kinds of distinctions are helpful, I think, because there's a lot of politically conservative people who are not socially conservative, and a lot of socially conservative people who are not politically conservative. And it's just, for example, it gets complicated with humans.
Yeah, it's complicated, but I want to say what you mentioned earlier, these what you mentioned before.
Oh, about this group, Identitaire, that one, or no?
No. After this, I forgot it now.
Neo paganism, or no?
No. It's always yes. I think it's always. Do you have people that are dogmatic or undogmatic? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's my
dogmatic.
distinguish.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
most of them are also in the left.
Mm.
Most of them are in parties. You've got the left in Germany, and the party I hate the most, like the right wing party, is the MLPD. So Marxist
Uh-huh.
Leninists. They have of working class posters, and they really believe in old time communism. And also I met one. He's got Stalin sticker, you know.
Yeah, Stalin, great. That's a great way to get.
I'd say
You
this
can
is
really
really
move
good.
forward with if you like Stalin. Openly liking Stalin is a great political strategy for organizing. But what's very interesting is in Germany is I was noticing in Hamburg a few years ago the Marxist Leninist Party had so many posters, and it's a small party, right? It's a very small party, but their budget for posters and the number of people they have who are willing to spend a lot of time putting up really nice posters all over the city. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know if they have a rich backer or just lots. The few members they have are very dedicated, but
the,
they
the,
really get the word
the,
out.
the problem is so we as anarchists, we don't have a party. And if you have a party in Germany, you get um, donations from the state. So
Hmm.
according to the votes you get, so also
Ah,
I pay with my taxes. I pay the AFD. You
so
know,
that's where their budget comes for posters. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
and okay, they have some people that earn a lot of money, but these parties, we if we have a few years ago we wanted to do something for the workers at Daimler Benz, because they have got these low price things, and rent workers and so. And then I was in the FAU. It's like
Anarchist Federation.
CNT in Germany, in
Hmm.
Spain.
Hmm.
But we left the FAU because they're getting too dogmatic. So we have our own anarchist. It's not a party. It's
Yeah.
some crazy people. But when I was in these FAU, we wanted to do something for the workers, and then the Marxist-Leninist party came and say, okay, we could help you. We give you lawyers and just come to our party, you know. So they have got the money.
Yeah.
And if you look at them, they believe what they say. The best state on the German ground was the GDR. So,
well, there are a lot of worse states anyway.
yes, okay, but it was also not. It was not a communist state because no, and we try to work more with not so much with dogmatic communist people, more with people also coming from things like urban gardening or repair cafes, so more in the DIY scene or so, because they are much. I have the experience that people that doing DIY things and not so much politicalized in the common sense, it's much more fun to work with them than with people who said you haven't read all the books of Marx, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I always feel guilty that I haven't read all the books of Marx.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure catching up with you a bit, Frank.
Yeah. It was really great. And yes, have a good time. Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too.
And till next month. Bye.
We'll see. We'll talk next month. See what's going on. See who the president is, and all sorts of excitement. See how many more hundreds of thousands of people have died.
No president more.
Who knows? Yeah, that'd be nice.
I just say I call you the government of Germany. I said okay. I tell you what to do, and I don't. You don't have to give me money. You just do what I have to say. But it's a little bit problem.
They don't listen, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good technique.
No.
Yeah. I write them letters too, but they just ignore me. Yeah.
Perhaps they couldn't read. Okay.
Take care, Frank.
Until next time. Bye.
Till next time. Bye bye.